I just want to start off by saying I'd like to acknowledge the Wurundjeri tribe of the Kulin Nation as the owners and the true sovereign of the land in which we assembled. We remember that as sovereignty is never ceded, resistance from Australian colonial settler polity will always continue. Thus, I want to acknowledge and pay my deepest respects to all elders, past, present and future, who have, continue to, and will continue to be the custodians and carers of the lands, skies, rivers, sea and life that are their country, especially despite the difficulties faced to do so. I would also like to acknowledge and pay my respects to any Aboriginal or Torres Strait Islander community here today. Thanks for coming to the last panel of the day. It's been a long day, I know. So this is experimentation and gender diversity in the experimental arts. I want to start off by, I guess I'll introduce myself. My name is Fionn. I make music under the guise of Gurna, which is a trio of women who make experimental electronics, improvised electronics, and I also have a solo thing called Pupaphilia, which explores, I guess, dank sexuality under patriarchy. I'd also like to introduce Stina Testa, who is, I don't even know where to start. She has done a fine arts degree at QUT in Brisbane and 1 year at RMIT doing honours in sound art. That's where I've met Christina. She's played in multiple bands of all different types, including punk bands like Baryshnikov, Over, Gold Tango, where she's plays organ and voice, synth and voice in Spite House, bass and voice in Hex on the Beach, guitar and voice in BC, and is recently in a duo, which is Stina and Cinta. Bring it a little closer. Yes, thank you. No, you're good. And on top of all that, she also has an experimental audiovisual practice. So everybody make Stina welcome. Yeah, sure. Hi. Then we have Emma Fox next. Emma is an electronic pop musician, sound designer and synth enthusiast, songwriter, vocalist, producer and video artist based in Melbourne. Her sound design work recently saw her nominated in the 2015 Green Room Awards for Best Contemporary Dance Score, and she also makes dark ambient pop. She does sound design work, which includes collaborations with other visual artists and theatre performances, especially in contemporary dance or experimental theatre. And she makes her own hybrid arts practice. She has her own hybrid arts practice where she uses video, light, sound, sculpture, photography. She makes pop music still as well and does production as well. So, Emma, everybody. And then next is Natasha Vomit, who also goes under the guise of NV. It's her solo project. She's also a pivotal member in some of Melbourne's most exciting electronic groups, from Zanzibar Chanel, which is an offshoot of Dungeon Master Posse and Passion Pop, to punk rockers Angel and Baby Chain, and the post-industrial duo Cheap Present. Her latest projects include noise band Smokes. Is that right?
Smoked.
Yeah, Smoked, yeah. And DIY dance house group Glamorites. Everybody make Natasha welcome. And on the end we have Raquel Solier, who has done a lot, heaps. So I came to know Raquel when I was 14. She was drumming in a band called O Belgium, and she's drummed in Jemima Jemima as well, then has undertaken some amazing solo projects, including Fatty Francis, which she's released a few albums on multiple labels, and recently is playing as Various Asses, which is an amazing electronic, everything mashed together group but it's all solo, just all genres together amazingly. She's also drummed for numerous acts such as Len Yakman, Sally Saltman, Jane Badler. The list goes on, it's really long. And she's also been involved in several national and international tours. Everybody make Raquel welcome.
Hi guys.
So I wanted to start off just by exploring the idea of what experimental means, because it's sort of a really broad idea and it's something that is actually a practice, but it involves theorising as well. So I wanted to ask everybody to just give a brief sort of synopsis of how you've come to develop, where you started, what made you interested in your practice, and why you've been sort of more heavily involved in experimenting than, say, trying to perfect a particular technique or genre.
Cool.
Go for it.
I guess it starts as a child with like an intense curiosity, which I think a lot of people probably identify having, where you just sort of like, what is this? Why does it happen? Why does it exist? And if someone just says to you, it just is, you're like, no. Okay, let's go deeper than that. And I guess that stays with you. And exploring art in an experimental way, I guess, means you're kind of always pushing the boundaries of a genre. Like you might get into something and you're sort of always thinking, well, let's stay open. Like, what else could this be? What else could it become? And I think that's, rather than saying have a practice in experimental music, it's sort of more the way you go about whatever art form it is, which is experimentation. So yeah, and I feel maybe it's drawn to that is sort of this constant want of sort of expanding something and seeing what else it could become. And for me, sort of, I also think that women and other people kind of more drawn to that because they're not happy or satisfied with the status quo. Like we're like, hey, this doesn't feel right. What else could it be? And maybe people who are from sort of more marginalised groups aren't as happy as some people who might be like, yeah, this is fine, this is cool. So that's why I feel like that may be something.
You've also played in punk bands and in pop bands, and experimentation features in that in particular ways.
Yeah,
in
totally.
its own nuanced way.
Yeah, I guess my introduction to that was really great because people were like, oh, I was like, I don't know how to play that instrument, and my friends was like, hey, just pick it up, have a go. I'm like, oh yeah, why didn't I think of that sort of thing? Like, and that was like a concept I had to like realize, okay. And that nature of just being putting yourself in that situation where you have to try something new is scary, and you have to be vulnerable. And that's like, I think that's a real strength though. Like it's really special, and so much fruitful stuff comes with it, like a knowledge of self, and yeah, it's just amazing. So.
Now, Emma, you have completed a sound art degree, but you also make dark ambient pop. So talk about the dualities in your life, or maybe how you come to do it.
I mean, I think for me, experimentation probably comes from a place of exploration of identity and not really knowing how to actually like go down the path that I'm meant to go down. And also just being really easily bored. I get bored really easily. So like if I master something, it's like, oh, well, that's shit now. I can do it. You know, I want to try something else. And yeah, I guess for me there has been a big duality, which maybe is becoming less of a tension for me, though it might still be there for the world at large. But yeah, I came into sound art from a pop background, and I've come out of a sound art degree, sort of coming back to my pop roots and embracing that a lot more, and just recognising that the kind of pop that I do is very much still coming from the same place where I have something, like a germ of something that I want to express and explore, and I will just source sounds and techniques and just play. I think play is a really big part of experimentation, and not necessarily knowing what you're doing until you're doing it, which is kind of how I work, which is really scary. But I think if you're drawn to that, you've just got to go with it, because it's just you can't rest with things being clear. That's not something I'm comfortable with. I want to go into the unknown, you know. So yeah.
Now, Natasha, you've been working more in the anti-institutional, I will say, styles. You're very much from the underground and punk, just like a lot of us here.
Shit on
as well.
everyone.
Yeah. So tell us your story and how experimental practices feature.
Yeah, again, like I think when I was a kid, I played music, so, but I was really bored by the restrictions of music. I found it pretty boring, pretty hyper as well. So I'm pretty attracted to things that stimulate me. So if something feels really good, then I really like it. But in terms of performing and things like this, I just used to watch dudes and get really jealous. Basically, like, I'm not gonna lie. I would get really jealous and be like, I could do that better. Yeah. I don't know if I can, but like, yeah, that's how I felt about it. So like for me, experimental music means that it's not as constricted. So you can do whatever you want, and you can put whatever sound you want if it sounds good to you. And I like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, makes me feel good.
Yeah. Raquel,
Me.
how is it? I mean, you've had a pretty amazingly long career that's not over anyway, like anytime soon.
Yeah,
But
well, I
obviously-
think the thing that I find that I haven't realised until now, and maybe this afternoon, is literally getting into a Uber on the way here, and the guy plays. Woo! The guy's playing a commercial radio, and it's not until I'm in those kind of normal situations that I realise that what I do is quite strange. Because to me, it doesn't feel strange. Like it's just a natural
you live-
process.
Yeah.
And I feel like it's that thing of if you are hanging out with your family and they ask what you do and you try and explain it, they have no idea, they have no interest. But if you just put something on, they're quite open to it and quite receptive, and they want to like something. And I think that's more like people love to be told that it's okay to like something that's experimental. They just kind of, A, don't know it exists, and B, yeah, just need a little bit of encouragement to be like, yeah, it's not that weird, like, and it's okay to like this, and it's okay that you like something that no one else knows exists, or they might not like it, that's fine.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I feel like, yeah, I'm sitting on an experimental panel, but I don't kind of know why I'm here.
You do experiment in multiple genres. I think that's one thing that is very hard to pin down in everybody's practice. I mean, you might not all think of yourself as having a pure experimental practice, but you all experiment in multiple genres, as you've just,
Yeah.
as I've read out and what you've just said as well.
Well, the weird thing is, like, we're all on this panel and not a single one of us here make the same music.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah,
That's
so,
it.
beautiful
Yeah.
example.
And I like that your family like it, because the first time that my family saw me play, they didn't talk to me for 2 weeks.
my uncle told me that my brother should just keep playing music. I was like, yeah, get fucked.
Well, my dad's a fan, but my
So
mum
good.
was like, I'm really proud of you, but you're a bit loud.
Yeah. You freaked me out. Yeah, my mum was like, what drugs are you on? I'm like, none yet, that's okay. Now, some of us have like intersected with institutions, so like unis, organisations. For a lot of us, it's, yeah, there's not a lot of big social institutions and labels and all that sort of stuff that's going on, but some of us have been to uni and sort of explored sound in that sense, and some of us have just come up from our own spaces. So, but I know that all of us have had pretty interesting experiences from being involved in institutions and from not. So, Stina,
Yep, sure.
yeah. wanna
Start
say-
off. Yeah, I guess I kind of wanted to go to university after high school straight away because I wanted to leave like a rural town that was terrifying as well. So I was in Bundaberg and I needed an escape, and I knew I would get into an arts, like, you know, I can do this, I'll get in. So that sort of was a way to open up my world, like from that perspective as a 17-year-old, like, how do I get out of this town? How can I grow? Okay, get to uni. And then I guess within that, the first course, I was really actually able to play, and it was quite, I don't know if it was just because of my age, but it was quite open. But then spending time outside of university after that first degree, where I can like discover the world, discover like a community, a punk scene, and sort of like learn in that way. It was really different, really special. And going back to university after about 8 years of not studying, I found the difference between kind of fostering community and like kind of fostering I guess individual, like a competitive, more like it's all about the individual. Like you've got to get high marks for you. Like it makes you feel like this, I don't know.
As a standard. They're marking you on
and
something.
you've got to fit as much. You're studying art. You've got to experiment, but it's also rigid because you've got to fit a mold of like, well, what is an artist and how do you define it? And institutions are becoming seemingly more like rigid because they're being, I don't know, they're owned by
The corporations.
Yeah, they're just horrible. And you're like, what
Which
am I
is
doing
a funny
here?
thing with sound practices because a lot of us
Yeah.
try to don't fit into those molds just generally already.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I find it, and maybe also the sort of way of learning, I find I need to be like blindfolded and thrown into a space almost to feel like, okay, I can start learning. I need to just, it needs to be unknown, but everything in university it needs to be all lit. You need to be able to go, this is a glass. Explain everything all the time. And it's like, if you can't put it into words, you're like, sit there frustrated. So I don't know, there's a push and pull because you want to go there because you think there's something there for me to be able to expand upon, or I want to know what's in this world of an institution, but then it's like, I don't know, how do you stay you and fit into that?
Yeah. Now,
Well, they were created like by men. So it's like it's pretty unnatural.
yeah.
Yeah.
And
It's
also,
not intuitive. These
They were
kinds of
created
institutions.
for like upper class
Yeah.
white men originally.
Yeah.
Pretty much almost every institution that
Yeah.
exists
Yeah.
originated that way. So,
To learn some manners before they would go out into society. But like that's the origins of these institutions, though. So I think it's natural. Like, sorry to interject,
No,
but
go
like
for it.
I went to high school and was like going to get kicked out, and I just spent a lot of time just not doing things, and like I'm going to uni now, and it's so weird that I thought I couldn't go. Like I really actually would cry about it and be like, I'm too dumb, and it's
Yeah.
like I'm in there and I'm like, YOLO.
yeah.
Like, this is a conspiracy. Like, do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It feels really like
The
that.
people that are
So-
supported to get there definitely,
Yeah.
you find that the people who have support might not be the people that need to be there sometimes.
Yeah, like I've just been out on my own, so it's like
Yeah.
this environment,
Yeah,
it's
similar.
very, yeah.
Now, Emma, you've had a pretty interesting experience as sound at RMIT. We've all touched the sound art in RMIT discipline
Right.
area at some time or another.
so I just finished a bachelor degree in sound at RMIT, and I didn't apply for honours. I was really glad to finish, and I got a lot out of it. But to be honest, I probably enrolled because I didn't have a degree, and I felt like, hey, I guess I should get one. And I reckon I could slog it out at doing like a weird sound arty thing for a few years. But it was actually a lot harder than I expected. Not academically, but energetically, it was a challenge. Basically, all of the faculty until my last semester were all male, and most of the students in my studio area were also male. And I spent a lot of time kind of just hoping to sort of slink by unnoticed as a female. So you wouldn't probably think that to look at me now, but like I really was just like, I don't have boobs, I don't menstruate, please don't think of me as a sexual being, because I felt really compromised by my gender. And I think that I needed to take time out, and I did. I took leave of absence and really just kind of figured out what I wanted to do, and then I just came back to finish like that last little bit of my degree with the agenda that I was going to do my thing, and it was going to be pop music was not what was wanted there, I think. Not that
So
anyone
they
was cruel
say.
about it, but yeah.
I've seen them celebrate it before when I've been
Oh yeah.
You're
some
too whacked out, they like the pop.
Some of
and-
them do too.
Yeah.
But like I just kind of, I came back to the course, and I definitely felt like it was this thing of like I had multiple male faculty members comment on, oh, look at you, your lipstick, dress, look at you. Like literally, I mean, it's so inappropriate, but, and that's just the exterior, you know, and then I'm like singing songs about like sex and assault and all this stuff, and just going, fuck it, you guys are just going to have to deal with it. I'm going to play my piece about rape to like a room full of men and you'll just cope. Sorry.
You just have to mark me. Mark me.
Yeah. Give me an HD.
So you've just come into going to uni now, but you're not doing...
I'm not studying music.
Yeah,
I'm
but
studying-
your time of sort of figuring out music for yourself has not been exactly by intersecting with institutions, labels, or anything like that particularly. Have you had to do that work though? Have you had times where you have been involved with institutions, and how has that sort of played out for you? Like music industry, even all that.
Yeah, I guess I've always felt really outer because like I've not grown up with much or a support network. So, but you know, in some circumstances, like I just don't understand a lot of the time. You know, people read me as femme, but my attitude is really masc or something. So but I don't notice that. You know, I really miss it a lot of the time. So in male spheres, like male dance spheres, they don't like me, you know. They're like, shut that one up. And it's happened to me. I've had my mic turned off. And I'm like performing, thinking I'm like singing.
What the heck?
And it was nothing. Yeah. I mean, I've given that guy hell. And in terms of, he's fine now. Yeah.
You sorted him out.
I sorted him out. Yeah, I just like don't compromise. I think because I've had to battle a lot, I don't compromise with all this stuff. Like there was a guy who was emailing me about songs and then for a cheap present, and then saw that I was putting out the tape for NV and decided to give me a critique on the NV tape. And it was like totally, I didn't invite him for that conversation. So I told him where to stick it. And like, I told him that he was being rude, and I told him that he was like participating in structural oppression by doing this kind of shit to me and pretending to be interested.
And how did
only
you
to
react?
critique me. Like, shut up. Like, yeah, and he said sorry, and so he should. And
Yeah,
yeah,
exactly.
I don't know. That's what I have to offer. I don't know. I just like get angry.
Yeah, but you've
That's
had
a
that
kind
happen
of-
a lot.
But that's like a really positive, well, not positive, but that's like a pretty good outcome. We've all been in
Yeah.
situations
Yeah.
to face that, and it hasn't been that good of an out. No one has kind of
Yeah.
accepted that they've done something wrong and apologized. Like, and back to when you mentioned that you're behaving in a kind of mask way.
When I
wonder-
say that, I don't actually mean on those terms, but what I mean is like in these very like hetero spaces, I don't realize how I can be confronting. So I think I'm just being really normal.
Yeah.
So, like,
But I wonder, when you talk about when you first started and you were not doing anything for a while, was your personality and your approach to things the same as it is now, or do you feel like all of that experience has shaped you to be this like mask?
Yeah. No,
person?
I've always been like this.
Yeah.
And at school, like I would get in fist fights with boys because they told me I couldn't do things. Like that's always been an aspect of it, but I didn't know very well how to express myself. I didn't know the language, and I didn't understand how I was in the position that I was in and how someone could tell me that I couldn't do something. So now with my life experiences, I'm like, come at me,
Yeah.
you know, because I've learned that stuff, and I will always continue to learn it from other people.
But even as someone that is aware of all this stuff, and I feel like I've been in similar situations where you begin to develop a really tough skin. And I'm at a point now, like I've been playing for 18 years, and I can't even, when I think about like gender in experimental music, it doesn't really, not that it's valid, of course, but I feel like I've just blocked it all out after years of just kind of dealing with it and just kind of pushing it aside and just, I don't really want to deal with it anymore.
Especially if you play a lot, you sort of come into contact with these things quite often.
Yeah.
And
It's
sometimes,
tiring to have to be.
yeah.
And you just build, it's just a response now to just recognize it or shut it down or just ignore it, or just depending on your mood and your day, do
Or
I
just
want to fight
staunch.
this or do I just want to kind of just go silent? Silence sometimes is also really powerful because they know that they've done something to upset you.
Yeah.
Especially if they didn't mean to, and like it happens all the time. So
But you've had a long history of sort of like interfacing with all sort of different music industry levels. Have you had?
oh,
has
it
it, like it's
exists
obviously
everywhere.
shaped you a lot
Yeah, I think so.
because you're a
I
hard
think so.
ass. But like,
But I also I don't want to be perceived as this, and I don't feel like I am that. But
Not
obviously,
aggro.
to get where I've gotten and my shutdown in ways is obviously, if I saw myself shutting someone down, I'd be like, "Fuck, look at her."
Yeah, no, I
yeah.
really relate to that. Like, I feel like I've had to be really, like, always take on that responsibility as well. Because I'm like, yeah, I know that I can be tough. I know that I can be articulate. I know how to shut people down. I know how to, if guys are being dicks, I know how to do this. So I'll do it. But I kind of resent it as well because it's an emotional energy and an investment that I didn't ask for that responsibility. And it really shits me that I have to do that when there's a whole lot of softness and vulnerability that I know has been brought up on other panels today. That is, there's a lot more cost to me to express that than I think, you know. I mean, I know that there's, I don't know what the experience of being like a male or a cis male is like. But I definitely have met quite a few, like, you know, gentle guys who are, you know, quite soft, gentle, whose ability isn't questioned because they're not, like, constantly telling people how fucking great they are. And I feel like that's something that I constantly have to assert. Yeah, actually, all of the beats. I made all of the beats. Yes, every single sound on my album. Yes, I made every single thing. Yes, I produced it all myself. No, I
Yeah.
didn't actually hook up with some guy to do it, you know?
yeah.
It's like,
Oh, that like so yeah, like I make music with my partner who is a dude,
yeah.
and like everyone thinks that he makes the music, and you know him, and he's a really gentle person, and like. You know, I'm the angry chihuahua. He's not like, and I do not know how people think that he makes envy. Like, I'm like, how?
It's just an
how?
assumption. Yeah, same
It's
thing
like-
happened with me and Cinta when,
Yeah.
And you can't, until you experience it, you're just like, holy shit. And I got really up. I have trouble getting angry because I think I've learnt to repress that. And it's really, like, it's been a really hard thing because I feel like you guys have just been like, fucking shot that. Like, and I'm like, holy shit. Like, later on in my room, I'm like, I feel sick. Like, what happened today? Like, why didn't, and I'm not, like, I've had that
No,
feeling
that
where,
happens as well. Like
Yeah,
when you
just like-
know you're in
why
the
didn't I say
situation.
something, or what could I have done? Like, and heaps of times when some guys just been like, oh, that's the desk, and like started doing, and I was just,
yeah.
because he put me in this role of being like, not knowing how to use the mixing desk, then I all would assume that I just kind of go, oh yeah, and like dumb myself down, and it's like later you're like, fucking shit, I need to learn, how do I
Yeah.
deal with that? What do I do in that, like how do I go
I do it in
away?
different ways. Like, so then if guys like, oh, and they're doing that, I'm like, oh my God, I didn't know how to do that. Thank you. Or like, I just like gauge by how angry I am, how
Yeah.
worth it is. Or I'll be like, move away. Like,
Yeah.
it's just like, you know, I feel that, and not everyone has this, and like, I know that this is totally my perspective, but it's like, I feel like the years that I spent watching people and being like, oh, and wanting to touch the things and do the things means that now that I'm playing the things, I'm like, you can't take it off me. Like,
Yeah,
do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And like,
Yeah.
I want to show that as an example to other people, that you can just be like, grr, like, stop touching my shit.
Yeah.
Yep.
But I
Because they
think
do
it's
it.
also-
It's so intense.
I think it's
yeah,
also
people can be
totally
pretty
okay, like, to not be in the moment, like, fierce and shutting it down, because that's the thing. A lot
Yeah.
of this stuff is insidious, and you
Well,
don't
that's what I
realize
mean
how
by
you feel
playing it
till
off by
later.
being
Yeah.
like, I'm so
Yeah.
silly. Like, I was just like putting my lipstick on and forgot about it. You know,
Yeah.
like, I play up that feminine role that they think that I have.
Yeah.
And I'm like,
Well, this is a
No.
question I want to ask, is talking about like aesthetics. So a lot of us, like, we're all control freaks, I know that. And we all like to do every single part of everything we do, production, or, you know, we're very funny about who we give it to, and we're very funny about the aesthetics. So you make video and you've got your hands in all that area, and you have a chic appearance and also do really good aesthetic sort of sides of things as well. I know that for Natasha, aesthetics and being sort of like femme identifying is huge. So like, can you talk about this part, why aesthetics is something that you think is really important to your work, especially in the face,
Me.
all of you? Especially because I think thinking about aesthetics can sometimes be seen as not relevant, superficial, and yet at the same time, the aesthetics of male identity or white male identity is not questioned, but it's very much there. So maybe starting with Raquel, because I know that you've just recently started wanting to do a film clip. So talk about.
I guess just before I talk about the film clip, I'm about to release a tape, my solo thing. My new solo thing is called Various Asses, and it's quite fresh. And there's been a lot of change in my life personally in the last couple of years. And I'm at the very kind of end of doing this tape where I've recorded everything myself at home. I've given it to people to kind of do the finishing touches of like mastering or layouts, and things have come back to me, and I've realized that they're not, or not realized, but I'm like, this isn't what I said, or this isn't what I wanted. And it's not the fault of the person I've given it to, but it's me slowly realizing now, after how many years, that maybe I'm actually pretty good at what I do, and I just need to get my confidence up a little bit. And obviously I do have a very strong aesthetic in mind. So yeah,
Well, you're
this
on a
is literally just-
motorcycle, so it's pretty amazing.
Pardon?
Your, your cover, yeah, so good.
Yeah, so I get, and now that I'm like I'm definitely a feminist. I'm not the best feminist. Like I conflict in certain things, as we all do. I'm dressed in all pink, so you know what that says.
there is no
Yeah, and I feel like
thing. Yeah, there's no thing. It's whatever.
But so I feel like now that I'm getting more confidence in this role within myself, I'm starting to openly incorporate it into all of my work. So a new film clip I'm doing is where I knew I wanted to have dances, because with my music it's very rhythm based, so naturally there should be dances in there. And I've wanted to openly kind of reach out and get people that I feel like are more like me, like more normal or average body size, bigger, different colour, skin tones and stuff. But also, yeah, I wanted it to be like part of my family and things. Family to me is very important. Yeah, and like reaching out and slowly realizing and getting the confidence to be like, this is a huge part of what I do from now on, and it's always been there, but now I'm recognizing exactly what that is, and putting it into a single word feels weird, like feminism, but yeah, it's still a journey, obviously. I still don't really know what I'm doing, but we're going to get there, and yeah, I would really like people to be more involved with that side of things, with my thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, sort of the way that you present yourself is something that is, Natasha, is huge for your.
Hello.
It's huge. You've got an amazing catalogue of sort of things around your music that are very important to it. How does that sort of feature for you?
Well, again, like everything that makes an adult comes from being a child. So I think aesthetic for me has always been a really strong thing. I was always about wearing costumes and this sort of thing. And my parents were pretty relaxed. So my brother and I didn't really understand that we, gender blurred a lot as children. So he was quite often Snow White, and I was like a tough guy or whatever. So for me, my aesthetic in MV at the moment is kind of looking back to that kind of costumey aspect of this performative aspect of gender, where it is like fluid, but it's amazing how if you can present it in a particular way, people respond to it in the way that you present it. So, yeah, I just like playing around with that.
Yeah, especially in the face of sort of the tough guy noise and sound art sort of area. Do
Yeah.
you find that that's been received well?
Do I?
Yeah.
Sometimes. I mean, yeah. Sometimes it's weird. Like some shows I've played, like, you know, the way that I present myself and these things, and like I'm playing to like a crowd of like metal dudes, it feels pretty weird. But they move in the end, so that's good.
Yeah.
You just need to shove them a little.
Yeah, and I do tell people to move and stuff. Like I just, it makes me feel weird if people are just standing still.
I wanted to sort of move on to community because sort of the areas that we're all in, we're all involved in sort of doing it for ourselves, organising our own communities. We're all across multiple communities. So I might see Raquel at a grime night, and then I might see her at a punk thing. We all have to sort of go across multiple genres to do our things. So how do you feel about, what sort of expectations do you have of communities, given that you yourself have worked so hard to try and establish and like maintain communities, especially in the face of the difficulties faced being a woman? Big questions. Sorry.
Well, when I first started playing music, there was like one scene in Melbourne, and were you a part of that? It was just like the Adelaide punk, Melbourne
I think it
punk
came a bit later.
art
but
scene.
I was at tail end maybe.
Yeah, and it was just so weird to see that was like the same 50 people at all the shows. You were there.
Yeah.
I saw you there.
Yeah.
And then now, 20 years later, it's like there are all these pockets of communities.
There's so many. Yeah.
Yeah, and that's nice, but to be honest, I also feel quite lost in that because still I don't really feel like I belong anywhere specifically. Everyone's
Is
welcoming.
that something that we all feel?
Yeah. But also,
yeah.
on top of that, if you love music, like you're going to be open, and a part of being into experimental music, that's what we do, is like, what were you saying earlier about searching for something new and just,
Openness.
yeah, and then like learning something and being like, well, I'm done with that, more, what's next?
Putting
Yeah.
yourself in that vulnerable position again of like starting from scratch is.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
yeah, like you
Terrifying.
morph from so many different genres. It's like
Yeah.
so you can't help but now have this sprawl
Yeah.
or something.
Yeah.
But
Spread yourself thin over everything.
It's tiring. It's very tiring going to multiple gigs.
But
Yeah,
also,
I've-
it's kind of crazy. Like, I went to a show Monday night. It was the weirdest show. It was like a hip hop show at the Old Bar on a Monday, and I knew nobody there, and everyone was old. It was just very strange. And it's like I still, after all these years, can go to somewhere that I think I know and be completely surprised. And I'm also surprised in myself that I'm going to go there and go to a show by myself and just
Yeah.
be like, maybe I'll talk to somebody, maybe I won't, you know?
Yeah, yeah. How have you felt about building community? I know that you've been involved in the punk community quite a lot, but you've ebbed and flowed with sort of being in there and being out.
Yeah, I guess like finding a core group, that was really special. Moving to Melbourne, having never visited here before, early 20s, that I guess community, like, you know, it makes you feel like if you haven't got family or something home around, it's sort of like, okay, shit, this is my new family. And it's really beautiful to feel supported and support others and kind of watch your friends like trying new things and have that. And then I guess also just through age and growing up, like you still have, you know, things have to change.
Yeah.
And so that's just the nature of life. So people kind of break out. It's like a rhizome or something, is it? Little roots coming off with all trying to, and touching base, being like, oh, you're doing that thing, cool. Like,
Yeah,
and, you know, still trying to keep in touch. And I guess it's good to,
Have you found more areas more supportive? Of
yeah,
this?
well, I guess university, you kind of think, is that a community? Well, no.
Yeah.
It doesn't, well, for me, it hasn't felt the same, it hasn't got the same goals, it seems. And something special I found from the punk scene is like, in particular, I guess, watching my female friends sort of playing because I've noticed that their way of performing or the way they, like something quite, like really resonates when you're like, oh my God, like, okay, I listen to all this music, it's great, but you guys, like, you speak to me, like what you're doing, and then it creates this like connection, and you're like, don't even have to talk about it. You're just like, oh shit, I can keep doing this thing, and because we're creating a language that is different to the way someone else might play the instrument. It's different to the way they would create. There's this intuition, or there's something else which has been suppressed, I feel like, in society in general. And, you know, everyone has it, not just specific to women, but, like, it's something that is missing a lot of the time, I think. And when you see someone embodying this kind of feeling, it's exciting and makes you feel supported as well.
Yeah.
So.
Now, Emma was one person that I'd never met before and never intersected with. So you obviously come from a different community altogether. Can you talk about your experiences with your community and how would you describe it? And
Yeah, I mean, I think that I've always struggled with community. I've struggled with scenes and institutions, and I've always felt like a bit of a misfit, which is, you know, probably everyone feels like that, I guess. But I guess I'm probably starting to feel, in maybe even just the last couple of years, that I'm starting to work out what my community is, and part of it is like community creation, I guess. I've never really come across like a scene where I'm like, yeah, I want to be part of that, and then work my way into it. I don't see community there that I want to be part of. So I'm like, no, hang on, I really love talking to you, and I really love talking to you, and your ideas are great, and I just want to create like this community around me that works for me, which can be a bit what's the word?
it's splintered.
Disjointed, yeah, but I think it's becoming less so. And I mean, I guess one of the things that I did earlier this year was started some workshops with Mess. Is it okay to talk about that now?
Yeah, pimp Mess. It's
Okay,
very
cool.
important.
So I work part-time at this place called Mess, which is Melbourne Electronic Sound Studios. It's basically like a synth library. And we only opened in April, and the membership was just like really predominantly dudes. And after a couple of months, I was just like, hey, like, I know that we want this to be a really inclusive space, but I think we need to like do a really specific call-out invitation to people who aren't like cis men, and just say, this is a space where you can come in and experiment and play, because, well, for one thing, I don't think that if you're not a dude, I don't think that you would make that assumption that it's a safe space.
No, I didn't. And I know people that work there, and
Yeah.
I love synths. So
Totally.
it's sort of just like,
Yeah, you wouldn't make that assumption.
Yeah,
you wouldn't
I
just
would-
be like, yeah.
Mm.
Yeah. And,
especially
No
because it's
offense.
affiliated with RMIT, and we've all sort of had our own.
Well, yeah, and I mean, the guys who run it are men, you know, and that just goes double for trans people or anyone who's not gender conforming. It's like, you know, you're never going to make that assumption that it's a safe space, like, unless you're explicitly told by someone you can trust. So, and not just that, it was something that I think that Samara touched on in the last panel, that this idea that we have to be extraordinary, you know, especially in a male-dominated area, which synth music, electronic music is definitely male-dominated. And I feel that. I've got that so internalised. I've got to be fucking incredible, you know, to just walk in the door or just to show anybody my stuff. It's got to be perfect, because I don't want to be vulnerable to that. Hey, honey, do you really know what you're doing? So, yeah, I just wanted to... I was like, I don't want to see that cycle perpetuate. So I was just like, I wanted to be really explicit about the fact that this is a place for experimentation and play. And
Which
half
is
the
the
dudes
point.
coming in don't know what the shit they're doing either.
No,
They
and I like to
never
see it.
know what they're doing.
They never know. And
Yeah,
I've
but who
been very
calls them
open
on
about that.
No one.
I do.
Yeah. See, I'm very open that I don't know what I'm doing, and I always I
Yeah.
have some very
Who
fancy
cares?
gear, and people
Yeah.
like to come up and have a look and say, "Oh, that looks real fancy," and I go, "Yeah, thanks. I actually don't know what the hell I'm doing with it, and I don't give a shit. I'm playing it
how I want. I'm pushing that button. It's
Well, surely
working.
if someone's
Yeah.
coming up to you saying that looks fancy, they don't fucking know what you're
Exactly,
doing either.
yeah.
Like,
That's what I assume most of the time anyway. And I'm like, if you're going to run off and tell me all the ins and outs of it, I'm bored. I don't care. I'm here
But
for
it
the
takes
sound.
the fun out of it as well. Like you don't want an instrument that is like, just like a straight up classical instrument that you know exactly what it's going to do every time you have a toot on it. Like
Just the point of
the point of
experimentation.
electronic stuff is that you're exploring where you can take it.
Yeah, and
you can
kind of
explore on other like
You
classical
can,
things.
of course you
yeah.
can. I'm not discrediting.
There's a woman.
But there is like an electronic aspect that needs to be brought in a lot of the time with classical music,
Oh, yeah.
other than composition. But I meant the actual like,
Improvisation or something.
yeah, the what do you call this? The core of it, the heart of electronic is like exploring.
Mm-hmm.
It was made also by a woman.
Yeah,
So
exactly.
yeah. I don't know, for me, I've always been a sideliner. So I went to a lot of music things and I just watched people for ages. And then when I said I played music, it's really funny watching people react because they're like, oh, wow, that's kind of good.
Are they like, are you the singer? You're the singer, yeah.
Or people
yeah.
are like, whoa, that's kind of good. And I'm like, thanks.
No shit.
But it is this like expectation thing. And so people expect me to be crap,
Yeah.
which is another weird thing.
Do you think I once had someone who's a friend come up after a show and be like, I saw you setting up your gear, and I was like, and then I happened to be in the room when you played and was blown away. And to have somebody admit that was quite confronting. I think for the first time I realised I was aware of what I was doing in that kind of
Did
space.
you say that was a friend of yours?
He was a friend of mine, yeah. I mean, they have apologised and they've admitted, and they kind of were realising what they were doing, and in that same conversation I was realising what's happening. Like, it was this weird, anyway, it's fine, he's a lovely person. Yeah, but it was like, these things exist and they still happen, and now as we're older, well, I'm certainly older, it doesn't really change your reaction sometimes. These things are always going to happen. It's quite terrifying. I have a young daughter and I think about all the shit that I've kind of had to go through. And it's so frightening to think that, unfortunately, in 30 years' time, that's probably really not going to change that much. And I have to just kind of give her as much as I know, pass that on, and give her the confidence to then stand up for herself and do whatever she has to do to kind of survive and get through all that and be the best and have the best experiences. So anyway, back to this thing is like, even though how many years on, I'm still in a situation where uncomfortable things it's like we're brought up to think a certain way, that a woman who's setting up their gear isn't going to be as good. And it's like, for someone who is a feminist, thank you, over there, the fact that I'm in that situation on the other side, watching something, thinking that somebody's thinking that, is like, I've even been conditioned to think that about women, even though I don't agree with it, I'm aware of it, and it's the first thing that pops into my mind. So it's like, there is so much work to be done, and
Well,
unfortunately...
okay, so I totally agree with this. And there's a band that I'm in with Jack Mannix, who is actually, I'm replacing Jack Mannix. Don't know if anyone noticed. I do that, we interchange. But the band that we're in called Bedtime for Princess, the whole premise of the band is that we're pretending that we don't know how to set up our equipment. And we're like, there's like 4 of us. And sound guys hate it, and it's so good. They're like, and we're like, oh, is it plugged in? And then we start playing, and they're just like, oh. So yeah, I think we do have a lot of things to fight, but I think we also need to put a pretty positive attitude on it and be like, women are, and femme people are incredible. So
But you also obviously have the best attitude because you're somebody that can fight that with humour as well. Like, not everybody has that strength to do that. And that's
it depends on the moment too. I've been caught off guard before, and I like to think of myself as an asshole. But people
don't
find
think that,
ways.
I've had some horrible, horrible things happen to me. I actually haven't had a good life. Like, my sense of humor is a defense mechanism. But if I can, in that humor, like empower other people around me to realize that someone else can gain power in that situation by making a joke and controlling that, then that's what like matters to me.
Now we've got 5 minutes. I just want to.
Sorry.
No, just keep talking. It's all good. There was a couple of things I wanted to cover, but like I've noticed in the last couple of years. So yeah, all been playing for a long time, and I have noticed that there have been more women playing, especially in experimentation and on lots of different bills. And we've all been putting an effort to put on shows and make sure that there are like all our mates and all our banging friends are on there who are amazing. Has this changed the way that you feel about making music in Melbourne? Because I know it has changed everything for me.
Yep.
Yeah.
Can I jump in?
Yeah.
Coming from like being at uni with like so many guys, the last year I've worked predominantly with women, whether that's like through like sound design collaborations or in my band where like my drummer is Nat Grant, who's an amazing drummer, and you know, we're looking at the moment to expand that, and you know, I'm really unapologetic at this point to say I really want to work with women. I want female musicians in my band, and I know that was discussed earlier on some panels about being the female singer in a band, and it's just like it changes a lot for me, and I want conversations, creative conversations, and just shared experience conversations. I want to talk with women, you know, I really do. You know, and not just women. I want to talk with people who don't identify as women but don't identify as men. I'm not that interested in what men have to say at this point in my life. I mean, I'm okay with that, you know, because you hear it anyway. You don't really need to look for it.
Yeah. There was a word going for a long time in my community, and we used to call it the male pain sound.
Yeah.
So it's just like dudes getting up there and having a scream and being like, yeah, it's just the male pain sound. Like this is supposed to be experimental music. Shit. Yeah. Variation on form.
Can I jump in?
Yeah.
Because I guess the first time I played with all other females in a band was Hex on the Beach, and I heard their music and I was like, what is that? Like, I kind of like stalked them, and then their bass player left, and I was like, I can learn bass, I can do this. I was like, can I join? And they were like, yeah, come and rock up and we'll have a play together. And I was like so nervous, but walking into that space with the girls, I was just like so blown away by, we didn't need to go, okay, there's going to be 4 of this, and that was a bit out of time, and then we're going to do 4 of that, and we'll stick that together, and da-da-da. And the first thing that the drummer said to me was like, well, this song's a bit like an orange triangle, like a pyramid. It's a bit orange. You see, it's a bit orange? I'm like, shit, yeah, I can do orange. And it was amazing, because I was just like, fuck, I don't have to think about this like structure. And that's what I was talking about before, this intuitive language. I was just like, shit, yeah.
I do a lot of miming.
Orange pyramids, I'm doing it.
Yeah.
So, and this like that way of creating, then there's no rules. Like, and and it opened up a whole new way of expressing, and I was just like, oh.
And confidence, totally.
Yeah,
That's it. I used to cry
you're
collaborating
speaking
with
my
men.
language. Yeah. Because I was like, okay, really rigid with this counting. We'll do 4 of that. Okay, I've got to change soon. And then that's still a thing. Like, you can do this, but just having that other experience for me was just like mind blowing. It was good.
Are we done? Are we 5 minutes done now? Because we could just keep going, but I don't think anyone will want to stay that long. Yeah. Anybody got a question? I'm sorry, it's been so all over the joint, but that's experimentation.
No question.
Do you have any questions?
No. Yeah. You.
Oh,
Yeah. And trust me, it will change your life. Yeah.
I just want to say it's like it is about being really active about it. I know I keep saying that and don't think that it's like I cry a lot 50% of the time actually. Like, you know, this is a presentation, this is, again, a performance, but we have to be active and, like, be discerning in these things. It's like, I won't play shows now if it's all just dudes.
Yeah.
I don't care about the money, and I need the money. I don't even have a computer. So, like...
Really, you're asking for a computer, right?
No, I've been saying this for 10 fucking years, and I still don't have one. No, but, you know, so I'm just saying, it's like, but it is this kind of thing, and it's like, you know, with my EP launch, I curated this in this way, and I made it a femme experience.
And it was the best set
it
I've ever
becomes safe when
played. It
you
was
when
great.
you make it explicit like that, and you don't need to be apologetic about it.
And also
No.
people danced, and it's actually hard to dance to experimental sort of stuff, I'll tell you that, but like people...
It's easy to dance to my music.
Yes, yeah. I've had people dance, that was weird, but yeah.
Just touching on when you mentioned asking for things. So I've been playing for a long fucking time. Language, sorry, Ruben.
No.
But I've made the most work in the last year of my life because I don't have time to wait around anymore, and I've got the confidence now. I'm older, and with a small kid, it's just like, I've got 2 hours to work on music tonight. What can I do? And I've reached this point now where I just ask for something and never think about it again. Because in the past, I would labor over an email that was sent, or how should I word it? Or if I asked to be on the bill with this international act, they're going to laugh at me, which is like completely not valid. And if you had said that, I would never think that that wasn't valid. So it's like I've just, suddenly learnt that you, as a woman, you need to just ask. And it's terrifying, but please don't be
It's
afraid.
terrifying.
Yeah, and
Not
it's like,
ask, demand.
Yeah.
yeah. And I wish I really do wish I had taken that approach earlier. I cannot stress that enough. And it's like,
Thank
just
you
seeing
for
the
getting
traction.
up and introducing yourself. That's a really great way to do it.
Yeah, and it's like you have to do that. Like,
Yeah, can I just say
Yeah.
that, like, in my previous pop incarnation, I was collaborating with men. My manager was a man, and my label was run by men, and it was a really shit experience. Like, as much as I loved the music that I was making, it was really shit, and
Yeah.
for a lot of reasons that you'd expect. And like now, I just really wanted to say, especially after, you know, there was this discussion on earlier panels about what it's like to be that woman fronting an all-male band, that you don't have to do that. Like, there are actually incredible women out there. You can have a female manager or a female label manager. You can have female musicians if that's what you want. It might not be. For me, it is. For me, that's what I want right now. And also, Ella mentioned, you know, gee, I wish there was like a thing like this that we could, you know, just like compare notes and talk to. Well, if anybody feels that way, please, like, just message me, because
Just do
I'll
it,
set it
yeah.
up.
Also,
we should
like,
be
yeah,
talking to each other.
Don't feel bad about playing an instrument wrong, because I can't play anything. I just started off yelling into a tin can, and that's fine. Like,
It's
people
good.
enjoyed it, and if you do it in a way that is, I don't know, true to what you want to do, and you're really interested in it, and you prove that, then it's totally fine. I still can't play anything, like I was saying before, and that's still fine.
And your music is amazing.
It's hilarious. All right, we might have gone over, so we probably should just like can it. I don't know. Thanks.